Big Bear AI stock is down about 6% today, and while most traders were panicking, we were in SOXS, the semiconductor bear this morning, which spiked 10% green at market open. We sold it right at market open for a profit, and if you're watching this video, you're probably a seasoned investor or trader looking at Big Bear AI. But if you're a beginner or you want to stop guessing in your trading and actually see how I trade live each day, the Easter sale that we opened up yesterday is officially reopened, but only until midnight tonight. So you can join our live sessions that happen each morning and watch me trade in real time. Just hit that second link in the description. So again, we were trading SOXS. It's up 10% today. But let's take a look at Big Bear AI. So if you drop into BBAI, today it's down 6.7%. It is starting to break pattern a little bit. We had this trend that was developing. Now it's dropping below this level, basically. In a zone, maybe it still holds in this trend, this downtrend that's happening. But when you look at the overall trend, just to take a step back with Big Bear, we saw it surge from essentially just around $1 a share when we started covering it back here in November, October, to over $10, and then recently sold off, and it's been selling off, and it started to stabilize as of recently. You could take a look at some of the trends, and now it's been consolidating left to right. Kind of see this trend happening. This is all the way back to basically March, and now it's at this level at which maybe it's going to bounce, maybe it continues here. But I actually really like the overall direction. I know it looks down. It almost looks like you had this big spike, really when the rest of the market peaked out. Ever since then, and the market's selling off recently, it's been selling off too. Now, in the bearish indicators, or just the technicals, right, we look at three things when analyzing a stock. Overall markets, which in this case, Big Bear AI is like Palantir. They are like CTM. They are getting contracts like Oasis Plus. I just went to the airport recently and saw them firsthand scanning my face. I saw the logo. I see that they're scanning thousands of people, bringing value to airports. They're at the borders. They have $160 million Army contracts. They have Department of Defense contracts. They are partnered with Palantir. They are doing the types of things that are not just, oh, maybe they could be big. They're already doing things that, in my eyes, if I'm seeing them and personally it's affecting my life, I'm literally getting scanned my face. They're storing my data. They have millions of profiles of people. I'm saying to myself, this seems like real world application. So with that being said, Big Bear is in a market that's growing. Defense in the US is expected to grow, and we haven't seen any sell-off as of recently. One of the things that we want to look at when we're looking at Big Bear is number two is the analysis. And the analysis comes down to the financials, comes down to the news, and it comes down to the chart. Now, we kind of just looked at the chart. We'll dive in and finish with that and get into number three, which is our profit plan. But just to look at the financials, take a look at this. BlackRock, one of the biggest investors in the company. Vanguard, one of the biggest investors. State Street, one of the biggest investors. Big banks are here, and they're not just putting in small positions. They're millions of dollars in. Morgan Stanley, you got JP Morgan, Chase, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Charles Schwab. Almost every big institution is seeing what's happening, and they're getting in early. So that's something I want you guys to realize is we're not just covering this and this is hype. I'm seeing real world, but their market cap is at 683 million. The financials have seen increased revenues quarter over quarter with expected growth in the near term. So take a look at the revenues. You're at 33 million. Then the next quarter, June 2024, 39 million. Then September 2024, 41 million. Then December, quarter four, 43 million. Now we're seeing more of this revenue increase. They paid down a bunch of debt, so they are almost debt free here. You can see the net income was looking negative in that last quarter. And I think with this recent move of really getting into a lot of the airports, getting into border security, they have some potential to see more growth. Now, the other key outside of financials, so we see increasing revenues, net income okay, but potentially getting better if they continue to pay off some of their debt, which they did pay off recently. Then you look here, just announced here, they're reporting their earnings on May 1st for first quarter 2025. That's going to be a good time to look at some of the financial reports. So that's coming up here. So make sure to stay tuned, especially if you're in StockMate. Again, guys, if you're not in StockMate, we got that sale ending, and you can get these earnings to see which companies are reporting. You got Tesla this week, American Airlines, you got Alphabet, Google, along with all of our charts of targeted what we're seeing in the company, as well as literal price targets for all these companies that are reporting earnings. So again, if you want that, surround yourself with like-minded individuals and watch us trade live. Second link down below to join us there. I'd love to see you there at Market Open. So when we look at the news, you see Army contracts, you see the Palantir partnership, then you start to see them in the airports. Then you ask yourself, okay, they're getting to the point now where the trend is it's been a little bearish. We're looking for it to break above this EMA. That would be a really good indication that we start to see a swing upwards. Now I'm asking if they're in a good position, potentially a buy, RSI MACD more indicating a buy, but you see this trend that's not so favorable. What's the stewardship look like? Because we see pretty solid articles when we go to government defense. Before we really look at the levels in the chart, does the government defense look good? They got Pentagon, they got cybersecurity solutions, and they're even working in the healthcare a little bit. So it's looking, I see it as pretty good. But where things really start to get interesting is going to be their new CEO. They just recently got this new CEO a few weeks into the new year. And the new CEO, Kevin McAleenan, was commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, where he focused on counterterrorism, border security, and immigration enforcement, following 2 decades as a career. Now, you can also see he was driving what was Secretary of U.S. Commissioner of U.S. Customs. Then you had served as acting Secretary of U.S. Department of Homeland Security under President Trump. So that was 2016, 2017. And then he led 240,000 employees and oversaw operations at CBP, and so Border Patrol, and then Transportation Security Administration, TSA, and the U.S. Coast Guard. It makes sense that, you see the Big Bear getting contracts with the airports, with the TSA, with the borders, because this is their CEO. So what do they say with the CEO? You want a CEO that can manage people in a way that is leading. So we see that. And also manage people or manage themselves in a way that they can go out and get deals. I've seen some deals roll in recently that I see as favorable for Big Bear. And for that reason, like some of them have been related to Border Patrol, but some of them are related to the new initiative for them to do their face scanning at airports, which I'm seeing all the time. I literally see them. So with those things in mind, we're looking more at a buy. It's a little more of a risky or aggressive approach to buy now because it is still indicating downtrend. There's no indication other than it being out of support here that it's going to reverse. But if we start to see a push up, I believe the levels to watch here are the bounce here at this previous support where it's at right now, about $2.40, to see if we can potentially catch a swing back up to $3. We have long-term positions in Big Bear AI, so keep that in mind. But the near term would be something like this. It's about a 26% increase, and that's what we'd be looking at. The longer term would be, let's say, up to previous highs. It's about a 350% increase. That would be much more, a greater increase that most people would see as, a 3x, a 5x. Like that could be a huge trade. But when we're just looking on the near term, on what we're looking for at market open, most likely tomorrow morning, if we start to see some of the moves play out like we saw this morning, and maybe in the other direction, we start to see an opportunity present itself to buy Big Bear, and we might trade it there. So for those of you guys that would like to watch us trade live tomorrow morning, I would encourage you to simply take a look. We were trading down markets. I recently had a lot of success after meeting some of the company CEOs and executives in quantum, and we traded the quantum markets. If you guys are interested in quantum computing, there are some quantum companies that are moving. And right now, maybe we're not playing upside. Maybe we do a little downside, but we've seen their trends. We've been watching them for really a long time here. It's been about straight 6 months of pattern recognition. And we're able to identify some of those morning dips, see them at open, and also get some insights into the long term of these companies. Again, after meeting some of the executives, really going to some of these conferences. We went to the Quantum Conference in CES. We went to the Qubits Conference, got to meet the multi-billion-dollar company's CEO. And then also we got a chance to meet some really great space company executives over at the symposium about a week and a half ago over in Colorado Springs. We got to meet SpaceX, Redwire, Rocket Lab, Lockheed Martin. Really good. So there's great moves that we're seeing play out in the market as opposed to relying on only the upsides. Again, we most likely can play some downsides, so we'll be watching there. So again, if you guys want to join us at our live sessions tomorrow, I would encourage you to simply take a look. Easter sale's going, and it's the second link below. If I earned your guys' thumbs up, hit that like button. Thank you so much for watching. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.